Imagine a project so secret that thousands of people worked on it without knowing what they were actually creating. Entire cities were built in hidden locations, scientists abandoned their normal research, and governments invested enormous resources into unlocking a power hidden inside the smallest parts of matter. This was the Manhattan Project, the top-secret mission that created the first atomic bomb and changed the course of human history forever. But how did a scientific idea become the most powerful weapon the world had ever seen? And how did a project designed to end one war create a new age of global tension? The story begins in 1939 as the world entered one of the darkest periods in history. World War II was spreading across Europe, and scientists had made a discovery that could transform warfare forever. Nuclear fission revealed that splitting the nucleus of an atom could release an extraordinary amount of energy. The possibility of creating a weapon based on this discovery terrified many scientists, especially those who had escaped Nazi Germany. They feared that if Germany developed such a weapon first, the consequences could be devastating. Their warnings reached American leaders, and the United States began investigating the possibility of creating an atomic weapon before its enemies could. What started as a small scientific effort soon became one of the largest research projects ever attempted. Known as the Manhattan Project, it brought together thousands of physicists, engineers, chemists, and military personnel. The project was surrounded by extreme secrecy. Many workers knew they were part of an important wartime mission, but they did not know its true purpose. Secret facilities were built across the United States, including Los Alamos in New Mexico, Oak Ridge in Tennessee, and Hanford in Washington. At these locations, scientists worked on different parts of the same impossible challenge, creating a weapon powered by the energy inside atoms. The challenges were enormous. Scientists had to develop new technology, create complex machines, and solve problems that had never been faced before. At Los Alamos, researchers focused on designing the weapon itself, while other facilities worked on producing the materials needed to make it possible. Every discovery brought them closer to their goal, but every failure threatened to delay the project. At the same time, they feared that Nazi Germany might be working on the same technology, turning the Manhattan Project into a race against time. After years of research and secrecy, the final test arrived. On July 16, 1945, in the New Mexico desert, scientists conducted the first atomic bomb test, known as the Trinity test. As they waited for the result, no one knew whether their calculations would succeed. Then, in a single moment, a massive flash of light filled the desert and humanity entered the atomic age. The scientists had achieved what many thought was impossible, but their success created a new question. Just because humanity could create such a weapon, did it mean it should be used? By 1945, Germany had surrendered, but Japan continued fighting in the Pacific. The United States faced a difficult decision: continue with a costly invasion of Japan or use the new atomic weapon. Scientists, military leaders, and government officials debated the consequences, but the decision was made. In August 1945, atomic bombs were used against Hiroshima and Nagasaki, bringing World War II to an end. However, the world had witnessed something completely new, a weapon capable of destroying cities with unimaginable power. The Manhattan Project did not end with the war. Instead, it transformed global politics forever. The world entered the nuclear age, and other nations began developing their own nuclear weapons. The rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union created the Cold War, where the threat of nuclear conflict shaped international relations for decades. At the same time, nuclear research contributed to developments in science, medicine, and energy. The Manhattan Project began as a desperate attempt to win a war, but its impact reached far beyond the battlefield. It changed warfare, politics, science, and humanity's understanding of its own power. It forced the world to confront a difficult question. When we discover something powerful, do we control it, or does it eventually control us? The Manhattan Project was not just the story of a bomb, it was the story of ambition, fear, discovery, and the moment when humanity unlocked a force that changed the world forever. This is Lost Timelines. Subscribe for more stories of the events that shaped history.